This morning about 9 a.m., our deputies received a call for a shooting in Bexar County near Southside High School. Now, let me start by saying the school had nothing to do with the shooting. There was no involvement with the school. The school did go under temporary lockdown. I believe there was activities going on there. So they did a great job of shutting it down, but my understanding is that there was never a threat to the school. It was just because of the police action in close proximity to the school that prompted them to put it on lockdown. But what it appears that this morning, two vehicles were southbound on Roosevelt Avenue, and for some reason there was some sort of a traffic altercation. They started chasing each other. During that pursuit, who were considering the suspect in this case, a person in a black Chevrolet SUV is all we have at this point, brandished a weapon toward the other vehicle. The black SUV that was continuing to chase the victim, who we consider to be the victim in this case, they were chasing the black SUV was chasing the victim vehicle southbound on Roosevelt. At a certain point, that victim vehicle struck a third vehicle, who, not knowing what was going on, just realized that he'd been sideswiped, then also began engaging in the pursuit. So now we have three vehicles heading south on Roosevelt, chasing each other for various reasons. At a certain point, the three vehicles came to a stop. The third vehicle that was struck confronted the person that sideswiped him, and then I guess they started talking about what had occurred with what led to the pursuit and the crash. When the suspect, the black SUV, approached both, physically shot the victim of the shooting. So in other words, the second vehicle that had been originally involved was shot. He suffered a non-life-threatening wound. My understanding is it's soft tissue damage. That suspect then re-entered his vehicle and fled the scene. So at this point, we're in the process of trying to get a better description of that vehicle to put it out for you all. We're canvassing for video, canvassing for pictures, anything we might find. So hopefully you all will be able to help us get that information out and bring this person to justice. At this point, we're still trying to develop information on what was the original thing that set this off. But again, that victim who's got that information is currently at the hospital suffering from a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. So I have no doubt we'll sort through it, but as we do, we'll get you more information. Esta mañana, aproximadamente las 9 de la mañana, nuestros oficiales fueron despachados a un reporte de una persona herida con un balazo. Se aparenta que la víctima, un hombre en sus 30s, iba persiguiendo con otro carro. Ellos tuvieron algo pasó entre ellos en el tráfico. El sospechoso, un hombre en un carro negro SUV marca Chevrolet, empezó a perseguir la víctima. Ya cuando los dos vehículos iban al sur en Roosevelt a muy alta velocidad, la víctima se estrelló con otro carro, se topó con otro carro. Entonces ese carro también empezó a perseguir a los otros dos. Ya en algún punto en Roosevelt, cerca de Southside High School, los tres carros se pararon. El tercer chofer empezó a alegar con la persona que le pegó, o sea, la víctima. Ya el sospechoso se les acercó, sacó una pistola y valió a la víctima ahí en la escena. La víctima esa sufrió cuando menos una herida que no es muy grave la herida, afortunadamente. El sospechoso ya en ese momento huyó de la escena de los hechos en su carro. Ahorita no tenemos mucha información tocante al sospechoso o el vehículo, pero nosotros ahorita estamos intentando sacar más información para dárselas a ustedes con las esperanzas que ustedes nos ayuden en identificar y arrestar el sospechoso. Any questions for me?
La edad de la víctima.
Está en sus 30s, el hombre.
Do you have a license plate number on black SUV?
We don't at this time. We're hoping to get that information right now. I've got a team of investigators out canvassing that area, but that area there is somewhat rural. So in other words, it's not like we've got 10 businesses all together that might have cameras. So it's taking some work for us to get out and canvass the area. But I've got faith that we'll find some sort of video or photographs to share with y'all soon.
Do you have any male, female, white, Hispanic?
It's a Hispanic male in a dark colored Chevrolet SUV at this point is all we have.
What the weapon? Do we know which type?
I don't have much information on a weapon. I believe it was a handgun.
Age range or anything like that?
No, at this point, I don't have anything.
¿Se puede considerar ir al volante un road rage?
Monday?
No, ir al volante se le puede considerar. Es un road rage.
Es un road rage. Es un incidente de road rage, sí.
If nobody else has any questions, I have one more on the
Sure.
last.
Sure.
Can you tell me exactly what led to the officers being placed on administrative leave? Just like specify that since it wasn't an officer role.
Oh, the fact that they were primary, secondary, and tertiary involved in an incident that resulted in a death of the suspect. It is considered a custodial death, and although at this point we don't believe that the deputies did anything wrong or bore any responsibility for it, in keeping with our policies and procedures regarding officer-involved shootings and any custodial deaths, we will place the deputies out on administrative leave for some time. When they're able to return back to work, we put them on administrative duty, desk duty in other words, while the case is ongoing.
And it looks like that incident happened kind of near a neighborhood, like an active neighborhood. Were there any stray bullets found in any other homes or anything like that?
That you probably SAPD would be the ones to be able to talk about that. I don't have much information. I don't know anything about the victim in their case, but as far as any stray bullets, I don't know.
So, en parte del protocolo, cuando sucede una muerte, es darle baja administrativa a los oficiales que estaban.
Sí, cuando tenemos un caso con cuando un oficial le tira a una persona o tenemos una muerte bajo custodia, nosotros tenemos la póliza donde separamos los oficiales del trabajo administrativamente, los ponemos fuera del trabajo por un tiempo. Ya cuando ellos estén, nosotros tenemos que asegurar que están buenos de su salud mental, obviamente pasando por un incidente así, tan críticamente. Nosotros ya cuando ellos estén listos para regresar al trabajo, los ponemos en trabajo administrativo por un tiempo, mientras que trabaje la investigación. Ya cuando estamos satisfechos nosotros que todo estuvo hecho bien, ya los ponemos para atrás para el trabajo.
Porque ellos, y discúlpeme la pregunta, ellos no dispararon,
No
¿no?
no dispararon. Nosotros ahorita pensamos que todas las pólizas fueron seguidas, que ellos hicieron todo bien. Desafortunadamente las acciones de esta sospechosa llegó a la muerte de ella. Entonces, aunque ahorita no pensamos que los oficiales hicieron algo mal, con nuestra póliza todavía hacemos esto.
Entonces, en este caso, la póliza debido a la muerte es por eso.
Sí, porque tuvimos una sospechosa que falleció a causa de sus acciones de ella, todavía tenemos que seguir la póliza.
A continuous conversation's been happening with the recent situation involving the deceased Brandon Poulos, who shot the 7 SAPD officers. Can you speak on why Poulos was not in jail at the time of the shooting?
So I don't know very many specifics on his case, but my understanding is that he bonded out, and just like anybody else is due, he was able to bond out and got out on his charges. My understanding is that it was misdemeanor charges that he was there on. I don't know what the bond was. But everybody's entitled to a bond on any given case, and I believe that's what occurred here.
There were several charges and active warrants out, so if you could just speak to that at all, just about safety for the community.
Well, I certainly don't. I don't have very many specifics on the case, and being that it's an SAPD case, I can't talk too much with regard to specifics. But what I can tell you is that anytime anybody's booked into the Bexar County Jail. Do I always agree with somebody being able to get out? Well, no, but that's not for the sheriff's office to say. If they get a bond, a judge decides what that bond is, and if they're able to make that bond, then they're out when they, once their family posts the bond and they're able to get out. Whether we agree with it or not, that's the justice system that we work within.
And can you just speak to safety in general? I mean, the 43-year-old woman in this case had a criminal history. Just should the community feel safe?
Well, I mean, look, I think that at any given time, we're driving around in traffic, we're doing, going around our daily business. Just know that at any given time, you're around people that have a criminal history. You're around people that are out on bond for various charges. Ultimately, I don't know much about the suspect in this case, in the road rage shooting. But, I bet money that when we find him, if and when we find him, he's probably going to have a criminal history of some sort. just know that there are people out there that have very little regard for human life. They're not like you or I that care about human life. So if you find yourself in a road rage type situation, it's better to just turn the other cheek and go the other way. This business of exchanging hand gestures or even raising your arms in frustration at somebody could be construed as threatening in nature, and it may be just what provokes somebody to take violent action on you. So just know that at any given time, there's people like that out there. Not to mention, there's a lot of people that are armed out there, legally and illegally, and it's just best to go the other way, avoid the confrontation, and not end up in a situation like what we have today.
And can we expect names or anything like that today? Any other details?
That's the hope. Are you talking about, which case are you talking about on?
All of them.
Okay, all of them. Well, with regard to the custodial death, we're waiting on the medical examiner to make positive identification on that person. Although we believe we know who she is, the ME's got to tell us. Once we get that, and once her next of kin is notified, absolutely we'll release her name. The young man, the 19-year-old, once he is magistrated, absolutely we'll release his name. The victim in the case of the shooting, I don't know that, let me back up. The victim of SAPD's shooting, SAPD will have to give that name. That we're not going to be at liberty to discuss that one. On the road rage shooting, we'll give you whatever information we can. Again, I don't know that we'll be able to catch this person without you all helping us get the information out there. So you can bet as soon as we get license plate, vehicle description, photos or video, if we can find it, we will absolutely send that to your desks.
What about a drawing, like the, I'm sorry.
Composite. I don't, if whatever it takes that we can get, I'd rather have an actual photograph of this guy doing what it is that he did. So it'd be great if somebody stopped and took a cell phone video or something. Please call us. The number to call is 210-335-6000. But sure, if it comes to the point where we have to do some sort of a composite sketch, we'll do that if we need to.
In the road rage incident, just for clarity, the driver of the second vehicle, not the SUV, was the only person who was shot or injured?
Yes, the second vehicle was the victim.
Okay. And nobody else injured in that case, as far as we know?
No, my understanding is that the collision did not result in any injuries. I'll double check that to make sure, but the collision didn't result in any injuries that I know of, and the shooting occurred after the vehicles came to a stop. I believe a weapon had been brandished before that part, which is why I believe that victim was fleeing from the suspect. But then when they came to a stop after the collision is when the suspect then took advantage of that situation and shot the victim.
And this may not be known yet, but they were at a stop. Were they at a stoplight that maybe had cameras at the intersection?
I don't know where they stopped. I just know it was somewhere in the vicinity of the school, so the school went into lockdown. But again, hopefully we'll know more as the day progresses. It's still just a couple hours since it happened, and I've got investigators out there canvassing the area now.
Entonces,